Okay, I hope that's going to the right place because that is weird. Okay. Okay. Okay, we are live. um Hi Cat. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There have been people in the chat for a long time. It seems
Yeah.
like. Sorry, I
They're just so
can't get
excited.
everybody's chats on stream. So, we have Logan and Solar online today. Let me get Twitch started. This I installed like a whole suite of plugins for OBS, and then and it's messed up my layout so in ways that I can't seem to fix.
That.
Forgive me, I have caused issues.
uh, no, you haven't talked. So we have Logan and Solar. Do not mind that Solar's name is very far from the icon. That's some weirdness that we're dealing with. Hold on a second. I need lights. I need to have lights on so that people can see me. Okay, there we go. And for some reason, my camera is tilted up when I am down. Okay. Oh, and I need to get. uh, you are not late. You are not late at all. Okay, so today we are going over the normal ring of the YouTube Conlang Relay. So just so folks remember, oh my goodness, chats are coming in fast. um, just so folks remember, we're gonna have 3 rings this year. I think that the normal ring came out and people are started speculating about everything. It's gonna be 3 rings. This first one was just like last year, just like every just like a typical conlang relay where you just translate it into your language, you pass it on, the next person has to decipher it, right? Oh my goodness, you guys can hear the, oh gosh, that is that is definitely going to be annoying for you guys. Hold on, let me see if I can fix that. So if I have that, interesting. Okay, let me see. Hold on. Testing. Can you guys still hear me? Can can people in the chat hear me? Testing. Testing. Okay. Let me see if I can. Okay. How about I just remove my mic? Okay, you can hear me? Okay. Can you guys hear? Did you guys hear Logan? Yeah, can you guys hear the other guys? Guys talk. Okay, you can hear everybody? Who can you not hear? Oh, this is so annoying. Okay. Okay, I can do this. Okay, they did talk for a little bit. Hold on. Hold on. I am going to the options on this thing. I'm going to turn off the chat alert sound. And because it seems like the chat is going to be too frequent for that to be useful. Okay, people talk in the chat.
Stream is the guinea pig live stream for the rest of the rings.
It is. Can you hear? Did you just hear Solar? Guys, can you hear?
Okay, it appears.
Apparently, people can't hear anything from Logan at the moment.
Okay.
But I suspect that's because Logan wasn't talking at that moment.
Okay. Yeah, we heard Solar. You can hear people, but you cannot hear the. Can you hear the chat sound? Oh no, this is a problem. Okay, let me.
No, Logan yet. It's like, Logan, where have you gone?
Oh dear.
I need to, in order to make sure the chat zone doesn't pop up, I need to actually do a thing. Okay, so
apparently people can hear Logan when Logan is actually talking.
Oh,
yes.
Wow, what a concept.
Okay. Apologies for clearing the chat just now. People, make some chats so that I can hear if the pinging is gone. We got 20 people in the chat. We got to make sure everything's dialed in right so we can get started. Okay, yay! Okay. We got no chat message thing. I think we will get something for an alert if somebody decides to give me money or something. But yeah.
You know, just that's all.
Okay, so let's go start with the presentation then. And okay, that's populating. I guess you're just Solar's gonna be. Why is Logan's name reversed?
We're figuring it out.
Did you flip my video orientation? Let's see. I've got a thing.
Yeah,
to flip
it's
video
flipped.
orientation, so maybe I can fix it if I can find out.
I don't think that's the problem. I think.
Well, let's see what happens.
I think this is a
Mirror
video ninja
video.
bug. Okay. Well, it's okay. It's just adding character to the stream. Okay.
Did
I need
mirroring
to.
my video change anything?
No.
It's not you that's mirrored. It's your display name. Anyway,
Yeah.
Speaking of character, I just had to reset my audio interface again. But anyway. So, here we have the torch. For some reason, I don't think I have Z-Way's actual translation. I have his I have their torch stuck in here. Um, yeah.
Interesting.
But I mean, there's a lot of interesting information on Bob up in here. Um, I think the video said some interesting things about it that did affect things. I can speak to a couple of things in the Bob up. Right away, they don't have a word for castle, right? So that significantly affected the rest of the ring because it's like a law building and then a wall. There's a mention of a wall, and then that later turned into a courthouse, and then it just got lost, and then um, eventually the wall got lost, and you got no sense of the setting anymore at all, right? So that I think that was an important thing. Their noun classes also affected things because I think if we go to the next translation, with Lanru, um, yeah. So, um, where is the actual translation? My document is kind of a mess, and I apologize for that.
Am I here? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello. Is there a new person on?
It's
Yeah.
yes. Hello. Good morning. I'm awake. It is 6 a.m. over here, and I hear we're talking about me.
Oh, okay. Okay. So Zue is on. Where is your camera on?
No, I don't have a camera right now. Sorry.
Okay. Let me see.
I'm special.
Well, since we're doing this, I'm gonna try.
Oh,
It's me.
Solar's there. Okay.
Welcome to me.
Oh, I need to not be showing my Discord to everybody. I don't think there's any private information there. Where is the window that has all my controls in it?
It's fine. If there's any private information anywhere, Sawton will find it. So don't have to worry about hiding it. There's a joke I have with Sawton where I'll accidentally say things like Sawton and I are friends, like good friends, and I'll accidentally say something and it'll just turn into, oh, now I'm this much closer to finding out where you live. It's like,
Okay. So Zue, we have a little.
Oh, everybody's names are in the right spots now.
Yes,
Yippee!
they are. They are
Hooray!
on this screen, but when I switch this screen, first of all,
Nope.
it takes time to load, and then everyone's names are inverted, and I don't know why that would be.
Oh well.
So,
it's fine.
I would say you could go, when you're watching when you're watching the VOD of this, you can just like flip them to see the labels, but then you won't see the chat. So,
If you can't read Latin characters backwards, what are we even doing here?
What kind of conlanger are you?
But
A
we were just
dyslexic one,
talking-
I think.
Zue, we were just talking
You're
about how your lack of a word for castle had a big effect because, like, you had to translate it as like law building,
Yeah,
and
it's a law
that gave
building,
people a
yeah.
very different impression of what it actually was. Right?
Yeah, I had a feeling it would turn into like a courthouse or something.
Yeah. So this ended up, and how? So, and that was immediately what happened with Lanru is a court sleeps on a short mountain. How close is this to what you provided her?
I would say it's pretty close.
Mhm.
Like anything that I didn't expect, or sorry, there's nothing that like I super didn't expect.
Mhm.
Um, but like I believe there was some like strangeness that occurred in regards to just like Switch
Mhm.
reference
Okay.
and whatnot that I wasn't like fully expecting. But yeah, I think the points that I mentioned in the video are pretty much like the points that were relevant here. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
that that works. Yeah, so there was that, and I think your noun class system affected things because we just have this intelligent life. Because I mean, I just said
Well, you
beings,
just
right?
said beings. I would consider that intelligent
and
life. I don't know.
and so you kind of had to choose some kind of a default class for that, and it ended
Yeah,
up being like, okay, there's something intelligent here, which is
something.
fine. It's they're shadow beings. They're kind of undefined. By the way,
Yeah.
who is that? Aaron that just popped up? Hello. Okay, I'm sure he'll be back in a second. But we have and then there is quite a bit of difference in the things that she did, like culturally.
Yeah, yeah. The shadow is the marsh now, I believe.
Yes, which is an interesting choice. Yeah. Somebody's suggesting conlang relay, but all the letters are inverted. I don't think that. I don't know if that's gonna. Oh, people are trying to pronounce the names now. Uh, Lewis and Cisco. There we go. Um, but we have this. Okay, so we get the marsh. We get to the marsh here. Then we go um, to miso, which also has another like. We're gonna get to the bird. The bird. The bird is going to come in a minute. Yeah, the bird spirit will come uh, in later. I mean, we
The
see the
the bird
bird.
came in after me,
Yes.
so be patient.
Yeah. So right now we have uh this, and we do we have the translation that Miso gave? Because Miso. So here's the thing, like Miso introduced proper names like Nishin, right? Um, there. Uh, so
Well, that one didn't last very
yeah.
long because the city name was explicitly glossed in their lexicon as like the prototypical city that is far away, like Timbuktu
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever.
So that
So
one.
so
That's
I
why that washed out.
immediately, yeah, I immediately just translated it to far, far away.
Yeah, that works. That makes a lot of sense. So it's sort of what is the fourth person marker? That is a very good question for someone who is not me, because fourth person can mean a lot of things. It's not like a standardized term. and I would need to like know somebody's grammar. Yeah. Yanni, we will get to that. We will get to that. Don't worry. Um. So, speaking of that, I think this is yours. Yeah, Tlakunak.
Yep.
So, Logan, can you talk a little bit about like your stuff and what changed at your end?
Yeah. Well, I don't think a whole lot actually changed after having everything revealed. I feel like I did a pretty good job
Mm-hmm.
of interpreting. Um, and then as far as intentional changes, uh, not a whole lot. Basically, Tlakanak has opinions about the order in which certain dependent clauses should go. So some things like got minorly rearranged.
Mm-hmm.
And then, now that I'm looking at it again, there's a couple of things that I totally forgot to mention when I did my video. Um, there's there's some repeated phrases that I just like forgot to actually repeat. So I don't think that had a whole lot of impact going forward because it's just like you're saying the same thing multiple times. Oh, I have a 4-year-old now. Hello.
Hello.
Say hi.
Oh, hi.
Mwah.
Hi.
Um,
How are you?
but another thing that I forgot to mention in my video is that this ended up having an impact on the Tlakanak documentation because it had been long enough since the last time I had done anything significant with the language that I just straight up forgot a significant component of the grammar. So there are supposed to be clause final particles that tell you various grammatical information, like mainly clause type sort of stuff. And I just completely forgot that those actually exist. So now I get to go back and figure out an explanation for why it's totally fine to leave those out in this particular context.
I mean, you can do that. You can retcon it, or you can just like say whatever I made a mistake. That's your options there.
No, it's published. This is canon now.
I remember. Yeah, I remember on the first relay, like I misspelled the word for to see in Ndekaga, and that screwed up Bib. And like I saw that and I realized, okay, I could just chalk it up to a mistake, or I did actually canonize it as like this is a some kind of a dialect loan that happened to develop in a radically different way. It's very odd. I don't know that I will ever actually develop the like sister language that went that way, where palatalized T became a K, but it's an option there. Um,
And before we move on from my my translation, I just want to point out I really like the word wakalakaini
uh-huh.
and also zialinin, uh,
Uh-huh.
which came in the middle there. I was so wakalakaini is in my dictionary. That's just what the word is. It is compositional. You can break it down. Um, but it just is in the dictionary as what it is. But zialinin is a inflected form that I was not expecting. So I was very happy with how the grammar just happened to work out in that sentence, and it made this excellent word that is fun to pronounce.
Who's drumming?
Oh, sorry. That's over here.
It's okay. It's okay. I just wanted to know where the sound was coming from. Somebody said translation inaccurate due to translator fluency issues. I did I have like built in something like that in Ndakaga where I say like the version that I present is made by is used by wizards and may not accurately reflect the way dragons speak, right?
Mhm.
And okay, and then uh no. No babies, children, parents, wizards were harmed. Yes, we didn't have people ripping their own hands off. Um, people saying hi to your 4-year-old, who we won't name if you don't want to. And then, yeah, not going to bring up anything about the last relay. Uh, uh, yeah, we talked about Lenrus, um, which um, we can sort of move on from this into who's the next person?
Eloivar.
Eloivar. The
And
text.
she
And
said in
this is
Discord that I'm supposed to provide insights.
you need to provide insights about Eloivar's. Okay,
Apparently, since
there's
she can't
her.
be here.
Okay, that's totally fine. So here's the English version. Okay, so I mean, do you have any insights from like what she translated from yours, and then we can look at her like retranslation.
Um, I think she did a pretty good job. Like these specific word choices in English are obviously different, but
Yeah,
I read this and like, yeah, the ideas are pretty much the same. Uh,
yeah.
Zwei majorly screwed up everything, and then it was pretty stable uh,
Where
up
where did we
through.
get the great woman speaking? Was that early on or?
That was Lanru.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
Oh,
I,
okay,
I
yeah.
messed up
that
everything.
was
What did
early
I
on.
do?
Hey! It'll be cool.
Yeah. But uh, I am a little bit surprised that it came out so well, uh, given how publicly uncertain she was about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
We did a lot of like back and forth clarification about how different parts of the grammar work in Fakanak. Um,
yeah,
and so I feel, on the one hand, I like to interpret this as evidence that Fakanak actually works. She was able to successfully decode it, but I did kind of help out a little bit because kind of like with Miso's torch coming to me, where the dictionary pointed out specifically, yeah, this is a proper city name, but it is used culturally with this specific purpose.
yeah,
Um, in to make things a little bit more possible, um, I I glossed all of the entries in my lexicon with just the one sense for that word that was actually relevant to the context and not like the full definition that a quote unquote imaginary native speaker would have in mind.
yeah,
So that narrowed down the possibilities significantly. And then like there is quite a lot of information that you can get just from pragmatics and knowing what the individual words mean, even if you don't know any grammar. Like you see a certain collection of words together and it's like, oh yeah, this one's more animate than that one, so and this is what the verb is, and so this is
yeah,
probably what's happening. And I don't think, like, there's a little bit of weirdness in here, but I don't think the text was bizarre enough yet that you couldn't mostly figure it out if you just knew what the words meant.
Oh, hold on. Daddy is streaming. Daddy is streaming. Somebody calling for me right now. Okay, just wanna say some things from the chat. Okay, Lexus won't join. Well, I'm sure we can talk. So Water or Yen Olivia, is it? Said that is going to say ahead of time that Madeline did amazing with her translation. Yeah, it was going to be a law goddess. We'll see, Yanni. We need to look through. And Lexus is in the chat saying I was close to retranslating the great woman as a queen. Yeah, so yeah,
That
and
did
people
not
talking
even
about that.
cross my mind as a
Yeah.
possibility. Now that somebody else mentions it, I'm like, oh yeah, that seems like an obvious interpretation of that phrase. I totally could have introduced that mutation here, but I didn't.
That there's
Didn't even think
actually
of it.
people talking about like an alternate version of the relay where somebody put a queen in there, and Water is saying, "Oh, we might have reinvented the castle in that case." That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But that did not happen, and so I don't think there's a lot of cultural adjustment here. I'm trying to figure out where did we get the great woman speaking? Because that is something that comes up later.
That was well. How about go back to Miso's translation?
I
Let's
believe
see if it's
Miso is
in
the one
there,
that added
'cause-
the dialogue.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I don't think I added it. I'm pretty sure it was already there when it got to me.
Okay.
Miso
So
added the
So it came
dialogue,
in
and then the
either-
red woman was from the previous one in Lanru.
Oh, okay. 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 The red woman said, and then we go. I really should label whose is whose on this document. I just kind of like threw everyone's translation document in. Okay, so bub up, and then okay, so
So it's not in the English version there, but if you scroll to the cultural notes, the second point down
Woman
mentions
red.
the red woman that she added.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like in the gloss, so you could pick that up, and then that ended up in Miso's
Yeah.
thing.
Like
Mhm.
if you compare like the English text that like the final English text that Lanru sent and the final English text from Miso, you definitely see like a lot of difference there. And I assume that's from cultural stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Queen. So we have Queen here, but I guess it becomes like Great Woman, and then we have a quote. So it's interesting when quotes appear out of nowhere in a relay, because it's like, I mean, why you didn't have quotation marks? Why did you think there was a quote there?
Well, not every literate culture bothers with quotation marks. That's
Well,
a major issue in interpreting ancient texts, because
okay,
putting the punctuation in is a choice.
Okay, you would have. Okay, Water's saying I would have reinvented the castle because sign language stories need to make visual sense And this would need somewhere for the queen to be from. Okay. Oh, wow. And okay, we're talking about Li Hongxia, which is going to be in there, and somebody said they're inspired by that. That's cool. So we have Lenzi from Lexus. Lexus Lang, are you still in the chat? We can be watching the chat for Lexus's commentary further on. Let's see if we have translations from Lexus. Let's see here. Okay. So this is the Mayoka text translation. Far, far away by the river on a hill. And then Lexus, why female protagonist? That's the main thing I want to ask, is why that was translated as female protagonist. Because that is an interesting choice of words.
Prepositions changed. Somehow the river ended up over the hill. That's not terribly surprising. Prepositions are finicky.
Yes, although you would think that saying a river is over the hill would be like a logical thing that people would pragmatically like wash out and say, okay, I got that preposition wrong. But yeah.
On the other hand, there is I forget what like the fancy academic term is for it, but there is a principle in textual analysis that like if you've got two possible variant readings, the more difficult one, like the more weird one, is likely to be original, because people do have that tendency to try to make sense of things. So if you're being overly analytical about interpreting your torch, you might think, there's a weird way that I could translate this, or like there's a way that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
And then convince yourself that, oh, I should go with the weird one because translation relays get weird. And so like I would probably be mutating it if I go over to the normal one.
Oh, okay. So Lexus has a comment says it was important woman. So I assumed it was linking the two characters already introduced. Okay, so like you took important woman as being like important to the story and therefore a protagonist, is what I'm getting from that. Which, I mean that makes sense, and it's not impossible for a language to like use that kind of logic and do that. I think I remember a place where some Chinese thing that I was reading said female protagonist in a place where I didn't expect it, and I'm not sure. So, but apparently a literal translation of the Lenzi, so our female characters. So it's still kind of this like odd meta reference, which is interesting. And then you say, so now, like, you say, the female protagonist is organizing it, and you say a person can speak with their mouth. Okay, so
so it turned from 3 characters into just 2 characters here, because the important woman gets identified with one of the 2 original characters.
Yeah,
or
so
not really
so
original, but one of the previous characters.
Yeah.
Also, here you can see what the over was doing, which is what I thought the over was doing. Is past the hill, but it was just translated into English as over the hill for the sake of understanding, I feel.
Yeah, okay.
And
sorry,
were...
I think I missed part of what you were saying because I was resetting my audio interface. Let's see. Who is here without a label? Hold on. Okay. I don't know why there's somebody here without a label. Let's go. The next person. Wait, who's the next person? Oh, this is still like notes. This is still like notes from Lexus's, I think.
Ooh, the swamp got metaphorically reinterpreted as not actually a swamp.
Yeah, it's muddy, unclear. Okay, so we have the vulture here, right?
Oh, that is one. I think that is one thing that I actually changed because I did not correctly interpret the relationship of the vulture to the rest of the previous story, so
okay.
it kind of got turned into this weird coda to the text, and then
Yeah.
that
So
other people did what they wanted with it.
Yeah, it became. So when did it become a vulture? I think it became a vulture with Miso. It was some sort of mythological bird for Lenru, and which is it's very weird how I give you guys like these abstract shadow entities, and it turns into a bird and specifically a vulture later. Um, and it's like people want to be more specific than I was. Um, uh, then we have is
I
water still
wonder,
here? I don't think. I think water left.
I wonder generally how much mutation is just a result of hypercorrection, because that like getting a vague idea of what something is supposed to mean and then trying to figure out what the concrete meaning is feels like that feels like a natural thing to do, because it's not always obvious, was this intentionally vague in the original, or am I just not understanding exactly what it's supposed to mean? And
Yeah. Something I want to briefly address. We had two sign languages, and we deliberately decided that they would be in the normal ring because they're not doing original scripts. However, there is an issue with using a sign language in and this is not me saying like anything about the legitimacy of sign languages or anything. This is literally just a practical issue for oral languages. There is a standard for presenting them to people who that people will be familiar with, and that's a romanization. You present it in romanization, everybody will get well enough to do translations with it, right? You could also present it in IPA and people would be able to do it, but it's something familiar. You don't have any standard like that for sign languages, so we ended up with two different situations. In both, there was a video. And then as a supplement to have people have some kind of text to work from, we did two different transcription systems. And Lanru decided to do ASL right, which here
which
here
made
is
a
the
lot
text.
of commenters very happy.
What?
It made a lot of video
it?
commenters very happy.
Yeah. It's I will say I've looked into this, and it's one of these things you would think that making a phonetic writing system for a sign language would be easy because you just translate the writing the signs into pictures and then simplify those. But it's actually very, very hard because there's this spatial component to sign languages that is really hard to encode, and also the motion component is going to be difficult to encode. So there are a lot of different options also there's not a standard option because like sign languages don't have the power that certain oral languages have gained too. But it is interesting like how difficult that problem is to solve. Um,
The
because
writing system channel on the Sign Conlang's Discord is probably the most active one.
yeah, but we have ASL right, which tries to capture. I can't read it, but like it tries to capture motion and spatial relationships that are important. Probably can't get all the context, but no writing system gets all the context. And then
There's
if we
also just some inherent modality differences, like things that
yeah
get altered just by virtue of going from oral encoding to visual encoding, which was mentioned in the translation notes somewhere, where the story had to be reorganized. Oh, I think
yeah
somebody said it in the chat actually. The
yeah
story
yeah
had to be reorganized to make visual sense.
yeah that is. Let's go. Okay, where can I find water's thing again? This is where are we? Where are we? We have a lot of pages. So let's jump back to water. And I mentioned so we had ASL right, and then water decided to use a gloss, which gloss in sign language stuff is like a common um a common thing, but in order to avoid leaking information by using English glosses, uh, they chose to use a Tokipona gloss, which um, Lucapona is a sign language with the same philosophy as Tokipona, right? It's growing out of the Tokipona community, so it's kind of a natural fit. That kind of oligo-analytic language. People are haven't okay. Okay, so you think so? Somebody said, "I think the shadow beings became the vulture because the first sign language equated." Yeah, I don't know if it's a deity per se, but it is like a mythological creature that is evil, and yeah, that was a cultural translation that occurred. Um, with, and then yeah, um, sign languages are much more concrete. It does seem like that. Yeah. Um, I don't know that it's a deity or a god. Way back there, it does kind of become one, which we will see. Okay, but okay, so we have some information about um, Lucapona, and you see, like right here, that like Tokipona philosophy, there are only 9 hand shapes, right? Versus I don't know how many are in ASL, but there's a lot more than 9. Um, and then like specifically defined orientations, there's only so many orientations you can have of your hand, but yeah. And then um, the placements, I think that the placements seem to be a little bit restricted. Um, and then okay, we have like we still have non-manual features. We still have facial expressions, and then so that was what Madeline had to work with. And unfortunately, Madeline can't be here with us because she is very busy with um, revising her novel. But Madeline, who has never had any experience with sign languages, had a lot of work to do figuring out um, figuring out what happens here. So all of this by the way, all of this is linked under my video. I may in the future make um, like updated versions of these that make things clearer. Um,
I think you just scrolled past a really important note in the grammar notes.
what?
Um,
What?
or it a little further up, it talks about iconicity, and
Yeah,
signs can be modified to look closer to what they mean.
yeah,
You're not going to get any of those uh, on the fly modifications in the Tokipona gloss.
yeah,
So, like, in interpreting this particular torch accurately or precisely really does require watching the video to get all those little inflectional changes and not
yeah,
just relying on the written gloss.
yeah. I had a we had a very interesting discussion with Lanru, I think on Discord sometime, where we're talking about iconicity and how like I was sort of asking the question of like is the iconicity in sign languages a feature of them being sign languages, or is it because most sign languages we know are young? Which if you don't know, all human oral languages, like natural ones, not conlangs, are just uh they go back further than we can further than we can reconstruct. So we don't know how old any particular oral language is. It's possible that most of them just go back to the dawn of language anywhere between 300,000 and 2 million years ago. But sign languages have just arisen out of deaf communities within living memory. So that's what I was talking about. Like sign languages tend to be like really young compared to oral languages. But what Lanrush said was like that doesn't seem to be what's causing the iconicity. It seems because signs will sometimes shift to be more iconic, and it seems like overall there is a pressure towards iconic language, probably just because it's easier to understand and learn. But she said oral languages or spoken languages are deficient in iconicity. Basically saying like it's easier to do visual iconicity than auditory iconicity, because like we're visual creatures, we are seeing things, and there's a lot of things you can do with the space and stuff, whereas there's only so far you can get with trying to imitate sounds, right? So
Kind of makes you
that's
wonder what language would be like if we had the vocal abilities of lyrebirds.
yeah, yeah. um or like parrots or something like that, right? um where we could just generate arbitrary things. um okay, so there's people still talking about the bird. Just check in chat real quick and then we're gonna move on. um what about hand talk? So I was saying most sign languages are young. uh, I assume that you're talking about the Native American one, like the Plains hand talk. That one, I do not know how old it is, and I don't know if it's entirely known how old it is. I'm talking mostly about deaf sign languages. Like ASL comes from like a definite origin of several different home sign languages combining together, and then like within living memory, we have Nicaraguan sign language and Al Sayed Bedouin sign language. Nicaraguan Sign Language came about in deaf schools in Nicaragua from a bunch of different home sign systems coming together. And then Al Sayed Bedouin Sign Language, it was just that community had a lot of deaf people, and it just emerged with no influence from anything else and just is there. and it's a really interesting case. Yeah, that's a thing. Like, linguistics, like intro linguistics, I think does a little better with sign language than it maybe used to, but it's usually sort of an afterthought tagged on Nordlist. That's an important thing.
None of
The
my
last thing,
phonology textbooks say anything about sign phonology.
yeah, which is unfortunate because I would like to know more about it, and I just haven't had time to like get through it. The one last thing I will say, we haven't gotten any comments about this, and I think that speaks to our audience is cool about this and understands this. But I just want to say, like, it was important to me to put sign languages into the normal ring, treat them as normal languages because they are, right? They just are languages. And I was like bracing for some ignorant comments saying like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done this. This is too hard. This is too weird," because I'm sure that some people might stumble upon it to and think that. But I just want to say, we made the decision to treat them as normal and not put them in like hard mode or anything because like they are just normal languages, and the sign languages we have here are not particularly are pretty much naturalistic languages. Um, I think it's important to state that. And the only way I would ever segregate sign languages somewhere else is if we had enough con sign languages to do a whole ring that's just sign languages, which might be cool for the people who are like more into like watching a silent video of people signing. But anyway, let's move on to the rest of the relay. um, so we have Aus Mulau. And I'm not gonna be too worried about pronouncing that because Madeline has difficulty understanding the pronunciation. It was very interesting watching Madeline read this and like the decisions that she makes to say this, because I know that Jake tried very hard to standardize the pronunciation of Aus Mulau, but Madeline has been working on it so long and worked on it so long before she learned IPA that it's just kind of like this, right? But let's go. So, is this the first part where we get foraging appearing?
Possibly.
Did food show up earlier?
I don't know. I wish
Food
I wish
definitely
Madeline was
not
here to
involved.
explain, because I don't remember seeing foraging in any other translation. So that's interesting that we have foraging appearing, and we get the river is surging with spring meltwater. Watch. Okay, we have bird folk now, which I don't know the context of the world that Aus Malau is in. Um, so that's I don't know if there are real bird folk or those are mythological, or like this is a language that's spoken by spirits too, which is like a whole other piece of this. And then we have women beseech you explain to the bird folk. Okay, so here we go. Ukeweti. Now, if you guys have seen the relay, you know what happened here. Is if I can find the gloss here, you can see ukewete was a form of the verb to say, and you can see right here Ukeweti. This gloss means that it was fingerspelled. So Water interprets this as a proper name, fingerspells it out, and presumably made a note somewhere that this seems to be a proper name that doesn't have any meaning. And that is where that comes from, and then we get that popping up in Ausmolau. And that is what we need to what we watch for evolve for the rest into what eventually becomes Okiaiti. Okay. And then yeah, so things are I'm unsure about. This is interesting. So if, when, because, then, for food, now that winter is over. Okay. Okay, so she highlighted a bunch of things that she was not sure about. That's interesting. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're gonna get that. Some vowels changed, in that name, and we get okay. We talk to the bird folk. So we're still talking about. So she's not sure about bird folk. Ukewete orders a villager. Okay, you're going to give our message to them. You go up the mountain, passing the message as you go to the bird folk on the mountain. Interesting. But the bird folk on the mountain says the message doesn't make sense. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so she wasn't totally sure about a lot of things, but I don't know. Water says it was a really good translation. It seems to be, yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to say, oh, somebody's got electric feedback in their plug or something. Rena and Oliveira. Let me talk about that. A beginner conlanger, which Madeline considers herself to be, although she has been doing it for like a year or two now. The next relay you will have Amaiguri, who is also kind of in the same space of like she didn't know much about like IPA and stuff before, and I included them. If I were doing this stuff like 10 years ago, I might not have even looked at them, because I would be like too up my own ass about like, oh, you got to learn IPA, you got to actually learn linguistics to do this stuff. But nowadays I'm thinking like, no, it's good to have some people who are enthusiastic, who are interested in learning the craft, but aren't necessarily as good at it, or maybe don't really like understand some of the things that we do as more experienced conlangers, because they're still all part of the community to me. I want to be inclusive to the community. Also, I think it can be helpful for people watching to see, okay, this person is included but is not necessarily like the most experienced, like most skilled conlanger out there, and that's okay, right? I think that's really a good thing. And it's good to see like Madeline does streams with people where she's learning this stuff, and it's good to see her learning process as she goes, versus my streams or Dave and Jesse streams where we know a lot of this stuff, and sometimes we're using like techniques that a beginner wouldn't necessarily understand, right? Um, Okay, people still talking about. There's been a discussion in the chat about phonology versus chirology. I'm just gonna talk about sign language phonology, even though they are kind of different things, just because that's like the standard way to refer to it, for good reasons. Um, uh, oh yeah, the relay translation became meta. Acknowledge how ridiculous the story was. One thing about conlang relays is it's interesting when people try to take this like nonsense text and make some kind of sense of it, and it's sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it's gone like so far astray that you don't even know what you're looking at. Here it's people sort of wrestled it back into some kind of a story. Yeah. Oh, it's inspiring seeing you don't have to be an expert to be in the relay. It's nice to know. Yeah. Yeah, we have people who are not necessarily, and we also have people who are not as big as I mean, I'm small on YouTube too, but we have some people who have like 100 subscribers too. That's another piece of it that I will keep. It's just people that I know. Let's unless that like becomes bad for them for some reason, but I don't think so. Okay, so where are we? Okay, so here's a translation from Aus Malau into Kea. Okay, because of the villagers sending foragers up the mountain, the meltwater swells down the mountain. Okay, so now it's bird folk is the bird man. The women listened to the bird man and became wise, and then okay, Ukeweti became Ukiwiti, and Ukiwiti villagers like men to give the message. Yeah, what?
Okioiti, because Kea doesn't have wa, and it doesn't distinguish liquids.
So
Okioiti.
So Ukiwiti.
Okioiti.
I thought it was Ukeweti in the last one. So did they misinterpret the hand signs?
Maybe. I know the only issue I really had was that wa.
Okay.
So
okay.
Other than that, it was like
that's
just one vowel doesn't fit.
Oh, this is yours,
Yes.
Solar, right? Yeah. Okay. So I lost track of who I was talking to. So it became Okioiti.
Okioiti.
Because instead of Ukiwiti. Okay, now I get it. And you can't have an u at the beginning of the word?
I don't have u in general. It's it's a square system. A o e i.
Okay, so that's interesting. Should it be pronounced Okioiti or Okioiti?
I guess it would be closer to Okioiti.
Yeah. But anyway. And then okay, and this is where we get you people.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I saw in the grammar document that was handed to me was an instruction or a section on imperatives.
Uh-huh.
And when I saw imperatives, my thought was, oh, someone is being told or requested to do something.
Yeah.
And given that before the way I translated it or the way it worked out, it was like Okioiti was among the women.
Yeah.
So I contextually I worked with that context. If Okioiti is saying something, she would be saying it to the women around.
Yeah.
So then you women go up the mountain. You go tell the bird man.
Uh-huh. That's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting thought process. And then we had that so and you kind of did interpret that in this way. I will say like imperatives was one of the things that that I know that Madeline spent a lot of time on, because
Mhm.
the goal of this language for it was spell incantations that command
Yeah,
the
spell
spirits
casting.
to do a thing, right?
Yeah.
Um. Okay. And here we still have the bird god. The bird god. Okay, so
Yes.
you made it the bird god instead of the bird
Yes.
man.
Um, because of mythology and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. Um, animal hybrids, like the people of Ai have a lot of mythology around beasts and stuff. So humans are understood as this like lesser, quote unquote lesser form
Uh-huh.
of consciousness, and anything that is somehow human and animal. Um, so for example, I forget the name, because I haven't worked on this in so long. But there is an elk with human knowledge that
Oh,
they
okay.
it's like, so it's that extension. Um,
Ah.
and I just use the word God because they don't really distinguish between gods and spirits. Um, so it was the word I had.
Yeah. Something of a promotion. Yes, it's something of a promotion. Um, and then okay, so now we get into Aaron. Aaron was in the chat earlier, and I think that
I
Aaron
am here as
tried to
well.
what?
I am here as well in the stream.
Oh, Aaron is here?
Yes, I can turn my camera on if you like.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, do I have you labeled correctly? There's Aaron.
Think so. Just
Yeah.
trying to see if I can see the screen a bit better. Yep, yeah. Lovely. I mean, first of all, do you have any questions about my part?
Well, I mean, let's take a look at it. So you have gloss and then render step, and let's kind of get into okay. The villagers formed a forager to go up. So what does this mean? The villagers formed a forager. First of all, what what?
I don't know. That one was more of a literal translation.
Okay.
The big, particularly if I remember correctly, it was like the villagers formed something which was in Kekema,
Mm-hmm.
which came from the root ke, meaning to forage, and I read that as a nominalization, which, as best I could see, it was actually correct because I believe in K it was a foraging party, and I think maybe I got the ending wrong because the ma is, I want to say it's an accusative suffix, and I think I thought it was a singular suffix rather than a plural, which
Uh-huh.
which was maybe what made the difference, or potentially there was just something in the context there which I didn't quite catch. So that's where it became a forager rather than a foraging party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
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 That is interesting. We'll get to how I interpreted that in a little bit, but then so we
Yeah.
have the bird god, um, and then standing themselves upon the mountain. The villagers were looking at the bird god. So, and then you have Okioiti, which we'll see how that changes in a second to the
Hmm.
final form. And then you people, this part seems to be translated very literally. This quote here from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of change in that one. And just in terms of how I read it, because it did make what I thought at least was a reasonable amount of sense. What I've
Yeah.
noticed is compared to a lot of the other people in the relay, I tended to be more literal, a few less cultural translations, a bit less of interpretation. Like earlier was mentioned about Queen becoming big woman. I would definitely be one of those people who just translate that as big woman rather than some form of
Uh,
metaphorical meaning.
which
Um,
the it would be interesting. There's so many branches that it could have gone down where
hmm.
like if somebody had if it was literally big woman, you can interpret that as like a queen or a woman who has some
Yeah.
kind of authority position, or literally a giant woman, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's always interesting, and then you had the women receive the women to transition the bird god, which is where we start to say, okay, is this a trans?
That
um,
one I do remember gave me a lot of trouble when I was trying
yeah,
to write it down because I used the word transition in my English translation, but that's not exactly how it got passed on to me.
uh-huh,
I think in like the Care Torch, it was something a little bit more like to change states,
yes,
which I rendered as being like transition is probably the closest single word. Maybe I was kind of trying to not go for something clunky like um the bird god has changed states to something or other. It was like yeah, transition obviously has a lot of cultural context now, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it was just the best word up for that point. But I can very much see how that's
Yeah, I mean,
trans
I
bird
may
gods.
be
Why
reading.
not?
It may be that I read things that are not in there because
Hmm.
obviously transition in our culture has gained this very specific meaning.
Context.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
context specific, especially when referring to people and referring to gender that not
Yes.
all
Yeah.
cultures will necessarily like have, right?
Yeah.
Let's
Absolutely.
actually move on to mine because there's some things. Well, we can talk about this. Um, we'll move on to mine because
Hmm.
so I yeah, so the way it was presented to me is like a forager walked in because for the villager formed for the forager, and
Hmm.
I had singular villager. The way I was interpreting that is that one of the villagers becomes a forager, like he takes on that job and goes and does the foraging.
Yeah.
Um,
That. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
and then and then the ice and made this river herd. So you have like make herd the river, and I interpreted that as like
Yeah.
a causative. So I translated it as a causative construction in English.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
I
I
think I
covered
got
that a little bit in my video
yeah.
as well.
I think I think I got most of it. The biggest mistake
Hmm.
was like um fly into and stand itself upon the mountain. I think it was just like this in um the preposition in I didn't understand the function of or something, and it does that have like a meaning you didn't document that's like to or toward or something like that?
Um, no. I suppose that was me being a little obtuse potentially. Just in my head, I thought that it would be clear that, well, I interpreted that as meaning like flew to a cave of some kind or some kind of refuge in the mountain.
Yeah,
And it didn't occur to me that that wasn't potentially a clear thing to like it wasn't something that was intended to be implied or
yeah,
that someone else wouldn't see that implication. That was just me not really seeing that one. Similarly, actually, probably I think one of my biggest differences in the translation from Care was I at one point translated something as wisdom without even considering the potential that it might have also been referring to women, like with like that cultural context Solar talked about in his video. It's
yeah,
sometimes just things didn't occur to me, and I think
yeah.
that was one of them.
I think the thing that confused me, like part of it is your quote unquote prepositions are actually verbal satellites that get like attached to the verb phrase,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it made it difficult for me to figure out like where what the object of the preposition is, which is not.
yes, yeah,
It's fine. People speaking this will get it in context, and it was
yeah.
also throwing me out to say the bird spirit would fly into and stand itself upon the mountain is where I translate it. And like, why are you flying into the mountain and then standing on top of it? It seems
Yeah.
like there's a step missing there.
Just ever so slightly.
um,
They took Durin's stairs up to the top of the mountain from inside the cave.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course,
Gandalf
absolutely.
fighting the Balrog.
okay, and then we have this, and then like you use transition in another place and ended up with like a transition their minds, which
Yeah.
yeah, hear the bird spirit. I think this was like receiving wisdom turned into like transition their minds. Okioiti
Yes,
became
yeah.
Okiaiti.
Yeah, that one I didn't cover in my video. It was a small point. It's just the phonology doesn't like it does allow vowels to be in hiatus where there are two vowels next to each other, no consonant between them, aside from diphthongs. But specifically o, letter O, can't be in hiatus because the hiatus in the language originated from the voiceless pharyngeal fricative, a h sound, which caused a conditional change in o and e
Yeah.
to become an r sound before it shifted forwards to a later on in the language. Hence, to render it just with the phonology, it had to be I rather than oi, even though the diphthong
Yeah.
oi does exist in the language. It just
Yeah.
can't exist in that circumstance. That was all it was.
So that is interesting. It's interesting that we ended up with like a study in phonological adaptation of loanwords with this. So we get Ukeweti becomes Okioiti becomes Okiaiti just because of the different phonologies of the different languages. And then we
Yeah.
get okay. And then this is Okiaiti among the women becomes like, and the women will be on something. And then in the morning, Okiaiti would say, you people say this word as a bird speaker. This is pretty similar.
Yeah.
I think there's some differences exactly in what is said. And then it has a woman and the woman gives it to us, which is, that I think is different. I think it was something
Yes,
about
I
giving
want
us
to
giving us
say
a woman or something.
yeah, I want to say in my English translation it was something more like and it will give the woman to us, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah. And okay, the bird spirit gave this woman to me, and I give you what you want. A woman will walk to the mountain and receive transition from the bird from human to bird spirit. That's my mistake, I think.
Yeah.
I think you still had the bird spirit will transition the woman, not mentioning like what actually the transition is, right?
Yeah, I think yeah. Um,
okay.
let me see if I can actually quickly find what I wrote on that one.
Okay. Jake said reminds me of turning the talking library into a wise woman. Okay, yeah, lots of things. Yeah. And this is the interesting thing. So
Yeah.
you said this is it is good, which now I see why this structure means it is good. But I got confused because this tet aisu thing is also used as an imperative, and I got too stuck on that, and I was thinking, well, if this is an imperative, but there's like no verb, what is it? So I'm like, let her do so. It's like Picard saying, make it so. It's just like a generic
It's honestly
thing.
surprisingly similar though in like what you meant. Like it is good. Let her do so. It does actually have a surprisingly similar meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can very much see why you why you got that. To be fair,
Yeah.
because the Just of an Imperative, I was actually inspired by Welsh with the word for please, os gwelwch yn dda, which basically means if you see it good. Like, could I have something if you see it good?
Yeah.
That was kind of what was kind of rattling around my mind when I made that, and naturally, it is good or something is good will come up quite a bit actually. in like just normal speech, and that was something I didn't think of. Context-wise, I think a speaker of the language would probably be able to see the difference, but in a relay like this, I can very much see how that caused the misunderstanding. And yeah,
By the way, folks, if you are following along with my Sylvan series, when I have Welsh influence and Celtic influence in general in my Sylvan language, the like that is a choice on my part, but a lot of that comes from me asking Aaron a question and Aaron answering how it works in like Welsh or Irish or something.
yeah. I generally cover Welsh, and there's someone else who I think like the handle on YouTube is Sherlock Lee,
Yeah, I think there.
who generally covers like Irish and Scottish Gaelic.
Yeah, because I don't know anything about Celtic languages. I knew that mutations existed, and I knew that they had inflected prepositions, or I think sometimes they call them prepositional pronouns. But
Hmm.
I don't know any Celtic languages. I was trying to add like callbacks to those to Celtic languages, as well as like to like Germanic and stuff, to like talk about like to like have reference to origins of fairy folklore in there. But like I don't know all of these languages. I had to look stuff up and ask people. So um
Yeah, no, I've been very happy to help with that. In fairness, most of my friends in real life can vouch for the fact I can't actually shut up about Welsh sometimes.
things so you say things transitioning into women is kind of a theme of the relay, but yeah, I mean, in other places when things transition into women, at the end we have women transitioning into bird spirits, which I don't even know what the symbology of that is supposed to be.
I think you're asking the wrong
There
person with
isn't.
me.
There is no symbology because it's a mistranslation.
No, I know. I know. I'm just sort of being facetious about that, but it is interesting. Um, it did not come up in the actual translation. There's no gender marker for Okiaiti, and then in my explanation video,
Hmm.
I kind of assumed Okiaiti was a man, and that is also where Okiaiti is non-binary as a meme came from in sort of meta discourse. But there's no gender marker for Okiaiti. Okiaiti is whatever you want.
Yeah. Um, Rotiedan doesn't have like grammatical gender in terms of like masculine versus feminine or masculine, feminine, neuter. It's all about animacy, and yeah, it's just I can very much see why that kind of thing happened. I'm trying
Yeah.
to remember if it got passed to me as a feminine name, masculine name, or if it even had like a grammatical thing associated with it. So yeah.
Kea has no male female gender marking. It's simply I rendered her as a woman because she was among the women, but
I
that
think that was the same thing I did as well. That same
Yeah.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of it's possibly a bit yeah, possibly a bit embarrassing. I'm just kind of either just societal biases got to me, or it's just like old internet head. If you guys have been on the internet for a long time, there was a long period where people would just assume whoever is talking to you on the internet is male, and
I don't
thankfully
think we're
we've
fully past that, to be honest.
yeah, well, not entirely, but I think it's much more common when you see someone who you don't know the gender of saying something on the internet. It's much more common for people to say they did this, say they said this, whatever.
Yeah, it depends
Yeah,
on what
true.
space you're in, but
Yeah.
like yeah,
Yeah.
at least
Oh, yeah.
like in our space over here, I certainly see it a lot more frequently. The
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the they, not the he.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
But anyway, I think so. We've gone through all of the translations, and I've got like 30 minutes if we want to keep talking. Do people have like other like remarks they want to make or questions they want to ask? Look at particular parts of the document or anything?
I've got nothing I will say. I'll leave the floor open to anyone else who might want to say anything.
Yeah.
I might just turn my camera off in case someone else wants to pop up so I'm not hogging the screen.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I have it set up so that we can have multiple people on camera at the same time. But
Okay.
Yeah, it's just that my camera decided it wasn't going to work. So,
Yeah,
Lovely. What's going on in the chat actually?
I'm actually
Yeah.
quite glad that I did this. So this is my second relay. I did the Let's Have a Boober relay before this, and because of that, I was like, no, I don't want to do another relay. I don't want to do it, because that my leg was before Miles had said, fine, take a month. So I had 5 days to do it. And 2 of those days were taken up by things that I accidentally double booked myself with.
Yeah.
But I'm very glad that both Sawton and Lanru pestered me to do this.
Yeah.
Um,
That's good. I want to say, I have always aimed to get the Conlang Relay out in August. This is the first year that I've done it. I think so. We got one out in October and one in November, and the reason that we got it out on time was I set strict deadlines right at the start. I'm like, everybody, get your videos done by July 20th, and give me the runtime so I can set up the premieres, and we're gonna do the first 3 weeks of August for each of the 3 rings.
And you still managed to let me submit the video almost a week late.
Well, July 20th was kind of a soft deadline. It was just to say, okay, if you don't get it in by July 20th, you are risking not having your video in the premiere, because like I will look at those and I will say, okay, I need to record my own videos to replace people who are not there, right? This ring, we didn't have any of that. I'm not going to speak for the next ring because something could happen right at the last minute, but we do have someone out for that. But next week we're going to have the script ring, which also had an interesting evolution, and I will be interested to see how the scripts themselves might have contributed to mutations.
Interesting.
Yeah. And doing a script ring is really hard because, like, I double check my text so many times because I'm not necessarily like good at reading my own script, as I'm sure like, I can
definitely relate on that one.
Yeah, it's hard
made
to
it.
like notice typos in your scripts, I feel.
Yeah, especially if you have like oddities like, oh, I don't use any punctuation at all, and I have to like parse these words in weird ways and stuff. But I don't think there are any errors in my transcription. But we're gonna see how Agma dealt with it, and then all the subsequent steps, how people dealt with each other's scripts. But this one, it was just a normal relay, and then there's going to be a third one that we're calling hard mode, and that is. We were going to say we're do a cursed relay, but we kind of realized, we'll talk about that more in the breakdown to that relay, but we kind of realized that cursed doesn't necessarily mean hard to translate, and hard to translate doesn't necessarily mean cursed, so we just called it hard mode. And we'll talk about that decision when that comes up. But anyway, with this relay, let's talk a little bit about the okay. Where did the couple come from? Was there a couple? Where was the couple? Do we know?
I do remember reading about a couple. I think it was in Miso's.
Possibly. Okay, let's.
Oh,
I don't
yes,
quite
there's something
remember.
about a pair.
By the way, Zue, I don't have your actual translation. I just have your torch. It seems like.
Oh, okay. I figured. Well, the translation was the
Yeah.
the
Like
the
I
text
would
you
like
sent
to
me.
see- Yeah, I would like to see. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess. I just it would be interesting to see a retranslation of the Mamba
Oh,
to
okay.
see
I'm
like
sorry.
what changed culturally.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's fine. If you don't have time to do that, that's fine.
I don't think I have. I have the gloss. I don't think I have like an Englishified version of it.
Okay. So here we go. We have couple. Yeah. So no, Miso talked about the couple. Miso talked about there was a couple. I think that was inserted for cultural relevance because there was a couple that that he introduced a couple, and there's a certain like legal standard for way to separate a couple against their own will that Miso inserted in there.
Hmm.
In just a second, I am muting Discord.
Oh, that was my fault.
Yeah, let's just
Here,
jump
quick,
back in.
everybody text George before he mutes it.
I already
Ping,
muted
ping,
it.
ping, ping, ping.
Honestly,
Okay.
if
Yanni,
you look at oh, sorry. Go on.
oh, Yanni, just gonna say you should not have deleted that joke. Going to City Hall to change my gender marker to bird spirit. That is a funny joke. I don't know if I have the
That was a good. Yeah.
I don't know if I should be the judge of that, but it seems funny to me. Yeah, so no, try rewatching Miso's video because I think there is an explanation in there of like it was an example of somebody violating the laws and getting punished for it or something like that. Yeah, and then
You've broken a law. No more wife privileges.
okay, and then you guys could try to connect the three rings final translations into a cohesive story. Okay, you guys will find out how far they drifted apart. The original texts were a single connected text that reads as a prophecy. And you will see the three parts and you'll be able to put those together. But they drifted apart so much that there's no connection between the three anymore.
Are you
It's
really
just-
saying there aren't trans bird spirits in the other two torches, George?
Oh.
So this is another thing. Okay. Not just the why did this torch expand so much?
I don't know. I think mine is actually slightly smaller on character count than Kaya's torch, like the Soa's torch for Kaya. So
Kaya has long words.
Let me see if I can find the like actual original text so that we can compare.
It's like
see,
4
what was-
sentences.
Yeah, it is
Mhm.
quite short. And yeah, I'm
No.
sorry, Z-Way,
1,
that I didn't
2,
give you
3,
enough to
4.
make a
Yeah,
whole
it is.
song.
Oh,
But it was
no.
like there was a reason. Okay, let me see. I can just get the original text. Don't mind me turning off the screen share for a second. I need to go find things. I want to see.
What, you don't want us to see your personal information? How could you?
Well, I don't. The
George,
main
what's your
thing
mother's
is I
maiden
don't
name?
want to spoil the entire text. I want people to watch every ring to
Oh.
see the whole text.
Understood.
Let's see.
Yeah.
What was the name of your first pet, by the way?
Your favorite book as a child?
I don't think I've ever used that one. Can we all agree that security questions are the most insecure way of recovering anything ever?
Hmm. They're also just
Okay.
a pain, I've found. I've had to do it once or twice. And it's supposed to be like quick and easy. You can do it in 10 minutes. 2 hours later, I still haven't got everything back.
Oh no. Okay. Okay, here is the first part of the initial text so that we can have a comparison.
Oh no.
Wait. Let's put them side by side. Make this big enough for people to see. Okay. And jump down to my translation. Hold on. I will turn on the presentation mode in a second. So yeah,
Wild.
it's 4
Yeah.
sentences of
Yeah.
let me move this so people can actually see what's going on. Wait. What? I don't even know what I'm looking at. Okay.
I think I passed on like 11
Probably,
sentences.
Yeah. Let me just do this. There.
There.
So, a castle sits upon a hill at the confluence of the great rivers. Its kingdom will be prosperous and grand, its power felt throughout the region, but beings will come through the shadows to destroy it. They seek something within the keep. So yeah, 4 sentences, very short. On the short side for a relay, right?
Hmm.
And then we get this back, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A long quote. 6, 7, more than 7 sentences. When we talk about the it's like 10 sentences.
Hmm.
People added a lot of things.
Hmm.
I
And you
think
know,
a lot of
ones I just noticed, of course, and I don't know how I didn't see this. We got a whole speech in there as well.
Yeah.
From nothing, basically. It's not like a single
There
piece
was
of
no
punctuation
quotes.
in the original. That isn't a comma or a full stop. And you've got speech marks, brackets.
I was very confused. So there's a whole speech. I'm always confused why we get like random like quotes in relays when they weren't there. Also, very confused. I was super confused about Okiaiti until the relay came out and I understood where it came from. Because I'm not going to put a proper name in a relay text. Of course, I'm not going to do that. That's unfair and weird. But it emerged anyway.
Why is
See,
that
and
unfair and weird? I'm just curious.
I thought nothing of it. I saw it and I'm just like, oh, okay.
I honestly was like, I like the idea of a proper name in a relay text because you can really see like how it like you can very deliberately see how it morphs based on every language's phonology and how they are able to interpret it in. So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah,
There's certainly
okay.
something that could have a lot of potential, like maybe in a future relay or something like that. Because like even just from about half of the torches, and like compared to the last couple of relays, this one was on the shorter end, only 10 legs versus last year, which was 22, I think it was.
Yeah.
And the year before that, which was like 13. And in about 5 of those, we went from, I think it was Ukaweti to Okiaiti, and you can just imagine how much further that would go.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and
it
it's not
could
like
be,
super far either.
Yeah. But it could
Mhm.
also just wash out entirely.
True.
I guess an opaque name probably is going to last longer
Mhm.
because like transparent name will just get calqued and then reinterpreted as just a regular noun phrase or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was maybe it's something. It's just not something I ever thought to include in a relay because it's like I just want people to be able to translate things.
Hmm.
Let's all.
Well, it would be pretty
it's
easily
not all the same
translatable.
text. It's not all the same text. You will see the other parts of what my original story as the other rings come out. But it has a beginning, middle, and end sort of structure. And I will tell you, the next two rings, one of them did preserve more than the other. And you will see what the end result and what the possible interpretation from whoever is receiving this prophecy will be. We'll get to that when we get it. Okay,
Oh
Logan's
dear. I
saying
hope they
he
don't try
wants
and
to do
follow it.
a script ring with Chugam, which is Logan's whistling language, like natively whistled language. So I think that
Yeah.
that script is just like a representation of the sine waves. Or hard mode with fish or firefly. I would caution against doing firefly just because I do not want to have a flashing light problem in the middle of the playlist or anything. Yeah.
One conlang I've been thinking of for a little while, which I wonder would potentially work in a future like hard relay, is one that uses like scent chemicals as grammatical markers. Like
that unlocks
particularly I could
memory.
go into the chemistry of it as well, like chirality, different like chiral forms being able to produce, direct versus inverse
that's
alignments and things
awesome.
like that. That's one I've been wanting to do for a little while. I was thinking of doing it for the Cursed Conlang Circus 3 or 4, whichever one was most recent. I honestly have lost track.
4.
Four there. I was thinking of doing it for that one, and then it got to about like 5 days before the deadline, and I realized I don't have time for this.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because he reveals like the optional themes like a month or two before the deadline, but like to really get a proper Cursed Conlang, you kind of have to work on it for like a year because I feel like the for the top performing ones, they're like very high effort. Like mine is not really all that cursed. The biggest thing is it collapses a lot of distinctions that from the original English. But it's not. It's difficult. It is difficult to parse because you have to have perfect pitch. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and like
okay, so
mine. If we're on the topic of Cursed Conlangs, Mikulang wasn't that difficult. Well, it was difficult. It was very hard. I think the most cursed aspect of it was the phonology, but then you also have stuff like fundamentally changing thought organization.
Yeah.
And it's like
you had a lot of like formal semantics.
So the funniest thing about that video just the video in general is there are so many jokes that are fueled out of spite that no one got. So like the whole point of using first order predicate logic was because Agma Schwa flat out said in his video, yes, your language has verbs. He said, what, are you going to make a language that only uses predicate logic? And I said, yes.
Okay.
So like, yeah.
Yeah.
Tirade over.
Okay. Quickly rewrite the torches to have trans bird spirits. Yeah, well, that's kind of done. I don't know if everybody watching knows how much time it takes to actually get the relay done. because it takes like 2 months. Once we've gotten everybody in the rhythm of like enforcing that it's the 3 days and everything, it still takes like 3 months, 2 months to get that done, and then I give people like another like 3 weeks to finish all their videos, so it takes a while. It's planned way ahead of time. People blaming Lanru's cultural translation, I think that contributed a lot to the length, but I think other people added other things too.
I know I
Yeah.
could have broken down that command,
Fairly true.
like those commands, into like one thing, but I didn't think to do it.
What? Sorry, I was in the middle of trying to catch up with chat, and then all my screens reloaded. Okay,
Oops.
where was I? Oh, that's the YouTube chat. Where's my social stream ninja? Okay, here we go. Okay. This is weird. Oh, it's over here now. Okay, here we go. Let's see if there's anything else people. The Hill Kingdom is doomed. It probably is.
We're certainly not going to be getting the right prophecy anymore.
Well, this first thing is kind of like addressing it to the right people, so it may not even get to them, right? But you will find out if it does get to them. There are a couple of different possible outcomes.
Oh dear, I feel like we've just doomed the kingdom to eternal torment now.
Rex is saying there were proper names in last year's relay that got washed out by the end. I don't remember specifically.
How opaque were they?
Yeah, I think if there were proper names last time, I think they were transparent, and a transparent name is obviously easy to wash out because people can just interpret it as a noun phrase that's descriptive, right?
Oh yeah, there was Cairo, wasn't there?
Okay. And Tugum is spectrograms. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. People talking about the pheromone conlang.
Yeah, I've started a bit of a thing there by accident.
Okay. Has to be handmade. Okay, guys, listen. Soten's video is gonna be really wild.
That's gonna be a fun one.
Let's Soten, and then the next person who has to interpret that. It's gonna be complicated. Let's go. Okay, male perfume bottles. You know, a perfume language is possible. There's a lot of if you look into the language of how perfumes are constructed, and the different notes and stuff, you could do a language out of that. The thing is, the thing about any kind of smell language, and William pointed this out on a conlangery back in the audio days a long time ago, but basically with a smell language, it's gonna be really difficult to put things in a linear sequence. And as much as we talk about non-linear languages and stuff, really ultimately the only way to get something that can expand to be an arbitrarily complex language, an arbitrarily long complex message, is at some point it has to become linear, right?
Yeah, my idea for like my one was like mixing it with mixing the smells with words, particularly because it was like a like for the Cursed Conlang Circus. I was thinking it would be something like plague doctors could potentially have used like different perfumes and scents along with, you know, jargon essentially to create a more complex language.
Yeah.
But factory component.
It's sort of, And also, one of William's points was like it depends on your listener being downwind.
True.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Just like imagining two different
That's-
people on a hill trying to communicate, and they're just holding up like placards with like a lavender bunch painted on it, while they're shouting something.
Okay. Oh, Landru was working on spoken sign language in January. Yes. Landru.
Yeah.
So
last
Landru,
time.
who was in this relay, has another language in the Curse Conlang Circus that is a spoken register of a sign language called Zasang. I think everybody should watch that video.
Great video.
Just not just for the language itself and the like whatever comedy of it, but the points that she makes using it as a satire of oral registers of or signed registers of oral languages, like signed exact English, talking about how crazy she has to make this language to represent what sign language is, and then think about how crazy you have to make your signed
language.
register of an oral language in order to keep it in the mode of English, right? And not use all of the spatial grammar and stuff that sign languages have access to. Chemicals that only evaporate at temperatures unsurvivable to humans. That would be interesting. We already have one Curse Conlang that can kill some humans.
Some safety lang.
Yeah. Well, Logan did that. So. Firefly A is flashing lights, and they're timed such that they will trigger light sensitive seizures.
oh,
So it is a language that can be lethal to some humans, and he gave warning in his video and everything about that.
I was
Certainly
thinking
try to avoid
safety
that, I
lang.
can imagine.
I was thinking
That's why I
safety
was
lang,
saying-
where you just mix chemicals.
That's why I was saying that's probably not a good thing for the YouTube Conlang relay, because I don't want. I'm sure he
Yeah.
would warn about it and everything, but I don't want in the premiere having in the playlist just having one language that randomly has potentially lethal flashing lights. Just
It's
in the middle
fine.
of there. It
It's fine. Epilepsy never hurt anybody.
oh,
I overheard something just then about chemical reactions, and now I've got just the wonderfully cursed idea of language with the nominative suffix being a thermite explosion. just the thing of you there.
Everybody's
The-
just talking about spell language right now.
The vocative is throwing a thing of uranium at him.
Oh no! Oh my! There are lots of options for lethal conlangs.
I
Just
had
put
the
it
idea.
in the lethal ring. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
The lethal ring.
So-
Warning:
so
if you
Do
try
you
to speak
think
any of
an
these languages,
explicitly a
you will die in
lethal
ways
ring of
untold.
lethal conlangs? Sorry. Do you think an explicitly lethal ring would get less views or more views? Would it be like people avoid it, or would people be like, "Oh, these are deadly. Let's check this out."
I think that would
Honestly,
get more
knowing
views.
humans, probably more popular.
I really do.
I've been toying around with the idea of falling down the stairs lang,
Yeah.
where all of the phonology is either falling down the stairs or throwing things down the stairs. So to your interlocutor. Your interlocutor is at the bottom of the stairs. You are at the top of the stairs.
Just don't get your grandparents to speak that language then.
Exactly.
Yeah, Logan. I think Fish A might be fine. Yeah. I mean, it was just like people not necessarily paying attention. I don't want a death trap in there randomly. Because
Oh no. My first thought went to just like they're cooking.
whoa. Okay, hold on.
Oh.
I think I missed part of what you were saying because when I switched it, like reloaded the page.
Oh geez. My first thought went to like someone's cooking and has it on in the background. And then they turn over and they just get hit with a flash of light. And the only thing that popped into my head was that ashen baby image. Just
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. But
Angel
anyway,
conlang.
but people with light sensitive seizures already have to deal with like things
Yeah.
like
yeah.
videos and movies and stuff that don't properly warn them and stuff. So it's just not.
That's
let's not
fair.
do that in a relay.
Yeah.
Lethal ring. Lethal ring.
Maybe. How many languages are there that can potentially kill people? That's the question.
If
Yeah.
if my uni lab were to even have the complete lack of common sense to allow me to do it, I could genuinely come up with something terribly lethal.
Yeah. Logan, here's the thing. I think it's not so hard to find a language that's potentially lethal. The question is like performing it for people in a way that is safe. Like you did.
Hi
You-
everyone, welcome to my video. It's in the middle of this field, in the middle of nowhere, because if anyone comes near me, they are doomed.
yeah. I mean, like
King in yellow.
like you were able to like warn people and say, okay, now we're gonna have the text. If you have photosensitive seizures, look, don't go, move on to the next video. That's cool, right? Another one that's potentially life-threatening is, I forget the name of it. One of Agma Schwa's cursed languages that involves like punching people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's-
true.
yeah, you can die. Anyway,
Certainly.
I love all the action in the chat going on right now. However, I am over time, and I probably should be paying attention to my kids. So, it's been a
Maybe.
great
Generally a
chat.
good idea, I've heard.
Next week we will have other people to we'll have other people coming on to talk about the script ring, which it comes out on Monday. Watch for that premiere. That's going to happen, and you will get the second part of this story, and then see if it resembles what I wrote at the end at all. I don't think it does. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. I think you know better than anyone at this point, George.
I know, but I'm keeping it ambiguous so that people will watch. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Aaron and Solar and Z-Way, and also I think Logan's still on. Everybody who came on, everybody who joined in the chat, and I'm gonna say happy conlanging.
Happy con.